A child's cry in the void. Ava Carter was 6 years old when the Galactic Council decided she did not deserve to live. She had done nothing wrong. Her parents, Terran diplomats, had taken her to Veltha Prime, the Council's capital world, for a formal meeting. It was supposed to be a gesture of goodwill, humanity proving its willingness to integrate with the greater galactic community. No one had told Ava that stepping on the sacred pathway was a crime punishable by death. Her tiny foot barely grazed the stone before the Veltharian forces descended on her like vultures. The towering, insectoid beings had no hesitation, no mercy. They tore her from her mother's arms. The screams of her parents echoed through the pristine halls of the council chambers. Pleas were made. Offers of ransom, diplomatic negotiations. Every desperate cry was ignored. The council had laws. The law had been broken. There would be no exceptions. The execution was broadcast across the galactic network. Millions of humans watched in horror as Ava Carter, a child barely old enough to read, was dragged to the execution platform. She sobbed for her mother. She called for her father. And then, in the cold, bureaucratic efficiency the council prided itself on, a plasma lance ended her life. It took exactly 0.7 seconds. The Velthari Chancellor turned to the camera afterward, his mandibles clicking in a rhythmic display of authority. "Let this serve as a lesson," he declared. "The laws of the Council are absolute. Humanity must learn its place." Back on Earth, the broadcast ended, and the world went silent. The silence lasted only a moment. Then, it boiled. The anger of a species is unlike the anger of an individual. It is slow at first, like a storm brewing over dark waters. But once unleashed, it is unstoppable. The United Terran Directorate convened within the hour. There was no debate, no deliberation, only a single, simple choice. Admiral Elias Voss, Supreme Commander of the Earth Defense Forces, stood at the head of the war table. His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of every grieving mother, every enraged father, every outraged soul across Earth and the colonies. "They killed a child," he said. "Our child." No one disagreed. Earth's president, a man known for his diplomacy, did not hesitate. His order was clear. Unseal the vaults. Wake them up. Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in the crushing depths of Europa's oceans, and in the forgotten military complexes of Titan, ancient systems came online. Warning lights flashed red. Sirens howled in the void. For centuries, the Lost Fleet had been silent. Warships too powerful to be used in any ordinary war. Dreadnoughts that had once cracked planets now hummed with renewed energy. AI war brains, dormant for generations, stirred from their slumber. The Council had made a mistake. And now, humanity was coming. The sealed arsenal awakens. Across the Sol system, the past stirred. For centuries, humanity had kept its greatest weapons locked away. The wars of the old era had nearly destroyed them. Wars fought with technology so devastating that Earth's leaders had vowed never to use it again. The Lost Fleet had been sealed beneath the red sands of Mars, entombed in Europa's ice, and buried in the crushing depths of Earth's deepest trenches. They were ghosts of a forgotten war, resting in the dark. Until now, on Lunar Base, Admiral Elias Voss stood before a vast holographic display, watching as dormant systems flickered back to life. His officers worked in tense silence, relaying data from across the solar system. Massive hangars, sealed for centuries, groaned as atmosphere flooded into them. Starships, black and gleaming, older than the Galactic Council itself, were roused from their sleep. "Status report," Voss ordered. "Project Revenant is online," responded General Soto, head of Earth's planetary defenses. "All primary systems show green. AI war cores are awakening." Voss nodded. "And the fleet?" A young officer swallowed hard. "Sir, they're waking up faster than expected. In the depths of Mars, enormous Erebus-class dreadnoughts, designed to crack planets in half, lifted from their underground vaults, their ancient hulls thrumming with power. On Titan, AI-controlled NYX battlecruisers, warships that could think, adapt, and kill without hesitation, reactivated their long-dormant systems. And in Earth's deepest trenches, the Leviathan rose. Once, it had been the pride of the Terran military. A ship so vast it had never been given a proper classification. It was not a dreadnought. It was not a battleship. It was a force of nature. And now, after centuries of silence, it hungered once more. The officers in Lunar Base watched in grim awe as their monitors updated. Hundreds of ancient warships, each one more advanced than the entire Galactic Council's combined navy, were returning to operational status. "We should issue a final warning," suggested one of the diplomats. Voss turned, his eyes cold. Did the Council issue a warning before they killed Ava Carter? Silence. The answer was obvious. Humanity had tried peace. They had tried diplomacy. And the Council had spat in their face, believing them weak. That mistake would cost them everything. The Lost Fleet, a force of warships older than the Galactic Council itself, was no longer lost. It was here, it was awake, and it was angry. Voss turned back to the war table. His voice was calm, steady, and absolute. "Set course for Veltha Prime," he commanded. The order was relayed. Across the solar system, massive warships began their approach vectors. The fabric of space trembled as humanity's forgotten weapons prepared to make the first jump. The Galactic Council had passed judgment on humanity. Now, humanity would return the favor. The storm over Council space. The Lost Fleet arrived in a whisper. Veltha Prime, the heart of the Galactic Council, had known only peace for centuries. Its defense fleets patrolled lazily, confident in their superiority. They expected no threats, certainly not from humans, the upstart species they had dismissed as weak. They did not see death until it was too late. The first sign was a gravitational distortion, a ripple in space, as if the void itself was holding its breath. Then, without warning, hundreds of human warships materialized. Massive Erebus-class dreadnoughts cast long shadows over Veltha Prime's orbital stations. NYX battlecruisers, their AI-controlled weapons already calculating targets, spread like wolves among the startled alien defenders. And at the fleet's center loomed the Leviathan, its silhouette vast enough to blot out entire sectors of the sky. Admiral Elias Voss stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, his flagship. The enemy fleet was scrambling, alarms blaring, captains shouting, warships moving into disorganized formations. They were already dead. Enemy fleet detected. 70 capital ships, 200 support craft, an officer reported. Voss didn't flinch. They had their chance. His command was absolute. Fire. The first volley was merciless. Quantum lances tore through the void, slicing through the shield of the Veltharai battleships as if they were paper. Adaptive railguns, powered by AI targeting systems centuries ahead of anything in the galaxy, ripped through their hulls with terrifying precision. Veltha Prime's first fleet, the pride of the Council, was reduced to burning wreckage in under 5 minutes. The Council's leaders, watching from their grand palace below, panicked. Messages flooded the hyperwave channels. "Humanity, we can discuss this. We did not understand the depth of your anger. Cease fire, and we will negotiate terms." Their pleas fell on deaf ears. For years, humanity had begged to be seen, begged to be heard, begged for mercy. And when Ava Carter had begged for her life, the Council had ignored her. Now, humanity would do the same. The Lost Fleet pushed forward. NYX battlecruisers wove between alien cruisers, adapting to every enemy maneuver. Veltharai warships attempted to flee, but the Erebus dreadnoughts ripped space open with gravity distortions, trapping them in the slaughter. One by one, the Council's defenses crumbled. A final message came through from the Veltharai Chancellor himself. His voice was shaking. "Please," he whispered. "What do you want?" Admiral Voss stayed at the transmission. He could see the fear in the aliens' many eyes, the realization that humanity was not weak, only patient. His response was cold. "We want justice." Behind him, the Leviathan powered its main cannon. A weapon designed to crack planets began to charge. Veltha Prime's sky turned red. The final judgment. Veltha Prime burned. The sky, once a brilliant tapestry of gold and violet, was now choked with smoke and fire. The shattered remains of the Council's fleets rained down upon the capital, the wreckage lighting up the atmosphere like dying stars. The world trembled beneath the wrath of a species that had been pushed too far. Admiral Elias Voss stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, watching the planet suffer. His fleet had done what was necessary. The Leviathan hovered in orbit, its primary cannons still glowing with residual energy. The impact had been precise, a direct hit on the Council's Grand Tribunal, the very place where Ava Carter had been sentenced to die. Now, there was only a smoldering crater. The Chancellor of the Velthari Dominion, once the most powerful being in the galaxy, appeared on the main display. His exoskeleton was scorched, his elegant robes in tatters. His many eyes darted frantically, searching for some sign of mercy. "Admiral Voss," he croaked. This is genocide." Voss's expression did not change. "No," he said, his voice steady. "This is consequence." The remaining Council worlds had gone silent. No reinforcements were coming. No allies would arrive. The Council had spent centuries crushing weakest species, believing their power absolute. Now, that power was dust. The Chancellor's voice cracked with desperation. "We surrender. Whatever you want. Resources, territory, laws rewritten. Please." Voss studied him for a moment, then leaned forward. "You misunderstand," he said. "This was never about conquest." The transmission flickered as the fleet's AI relayed the final order across every remaining Council channel. "The Galactic Council is dissolved. Effective immediately. All occupied species are free. You will never hold power again." The Chancellor collapsed to his knees. This was worse than death. Humanity would not rule. It would not enslave. It would not become what the Council had been. Instead, it had removed them from history, erased their legacy, shattered their dominion, and left them as nothing more than scattered, powerless remnants. This was not war. This was justice. Voss turned away from the screen. "Order the fleet to disengage," he commanded. "We're done here." One by one, the lost fleet withdrew. The Leviathan, its vengeance fulfilled, slipped back into the void. The Erebus dreadnoughts faded into the blackness of space. The NYX battlecruisers deactivated their weapons, and humanity left just as swiftly as it had arrived. Veltha Prime remained, smoldering and broken, a warning to the galaxy. They had taken one of ours, and humanity had taken everything. As the fleet vanished into the endless dark, the legend of the wrath of humanity began to spread. Whispers of the ancient fleet, of warships designed to fight gods, of a species that had once been underestimated. It would never be underestimated again.